Hi everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces. Welcome to my channel. This is my very first Flosstube video and I'm super excited. I think this is the way that my channel is going to be going for now. I'm going to use it as a vlog to get through my crafts that I'm trying to do. The four that I'm going to be introducing today, I'm going to be working on kind of long term, and I have a goal of June to get these cross stitches done. Today is January 9th, 2024. And as I said, new year, new starts. And I've got four of them. In July, the county fair is coming to town. And then in August, the state fair is coming to town. The county fair has a due date for the last weekend of June. It's like the 28th and the 29th for turning the cross stitches in. There are lots of other categories too. Right now, I'm going to primarily focus on trying to do 3 categories, which is why I have 4 new starts. 3 of them I want to enter into the fair, and the 4th one is, it's been in my stash for such a long time that I need to do it. As I said, June, the last weekend of June, I need to have them finished, framed, and ready to be entered into the fair. The county fair has 3 stitching categories that I'm interested in. It's there's a 14 to 18 count category, and then there's a 22 and up count category, and then there's a Blackwork category. So 3 of the projects hit those 3 markers. The state fair hasn't yet put out their categories or their guidelines yet. But looking at last year's winners, it looks like there are a lot more categories, but there's the fabric counts. There were 2 separate categories, but then there were 2 other categories based on size. So once they put out their guidelines, I'll have more of a way to go. But they also have a sampler category that I saw. They didn't have a Blackwork, they had a sampler. So based off of what I can see between the 2 fairs, I've sort of arranged my projects in a specific way. My first project, my primary project, I'm calling it my favorite designer project. I have 3 favorite designers: Teresa Wentzler, Nora Corbett, and Bella Filipina. I've never done any of their pieces, but I love their work. So I've decided it is time to do it. A favorite designer piece is surely something that would be worthy of going into the fair. I just have to make sure that it fits the fabric categories. So with my favorite designer piece, I decided to go with Teresa Wentzler because I already had a whole bunch of Teresa Wentzler projects, patterns, that I've been collecting since 1998. So with that said, let me go ahead and introduce this first category, and I'll just go through each category and how I'm going to work on it. So my Teresa Wentzler piece is out of this book. I have had this book since 2005, 2006, maybe 2007. I purchased it off of eBay. So I've had this for a hot minute. And when I purchased it off of eBay, I got it cheap, because if you find these books now, they're not cheap. Everybody knows what they have, and you're going to pay some money. But anyway, I am doing the castle, this dragon piece right here. So I chose (16 count) fabric that I hand dyed. Sorry, the sun is coming directly in through my window here, and I hand dyed this myself. I was going for red and yellow and gray. I was thinking it's a dragon, dragons breathe fire. Even if to me, this looks more like a water type of dragon because of the tail. But to me, I thought dragons should still breathe fire. So I went on Rit's website and I picked out like a red and I picked out a yellow and then I picked out colors for a gray. And then I created the colors. And then when they blended, the red and the yellow, the orange, I wasn't expecting it to be this brown. But overall, I like how it turned out. And I think that it's just going to look phenomenal on this piece. I said this is my primary project because this is the one that is going to be put on the stand next to my bed. And so this is the one that's going to get the most love. It's going to get attention on the weekends. It's going to get 2, maybe 3, possibly 4 hours each night, depending, on how my evening goes. But it's going to get at least 2 hours every night, and then it's going to get worked on the weekends. So that's why I'm calling this my primary. This is all the floss. I got these really cute floss drops from the Crafty Grimalkin. And I got it off of her Etsy shop. But she has a website where I've ordered my floss drops for one of the outdoor projects that they're actually supposed to come tonight. So tonight it's going to be lots of making floss drops so I can finally work on it. But back to the Teresa Wensler piece. Teresa was like a trained artist. So she loves blends. Almost all of these are color blends, which is why there's so many, because I wanted to have at least one skein for each one. And there were repeat colors because they work in so many blends, like 3041 and 3042 are in everything. But these are all my colors. This is all my floss. And I'm so excited to start working on this one tonight. Okay, so that's my first piece. 16 count fabric, which falls under the 14 to 18 count category. I hand dyed it. And then everything else is DMC. My second project, I'm calling this either a Blackwork or a sampler. And I chose to go with a Blackwork first. And then if I get this done in time and there's enough time for me to do a sampler, then I'll start working on the sampler for the state fair. This is my Blackwork fabric. I hand dyed this as well. I used 2 shades of green and black. I really love how this fabric turned out. And then I have a nice cookie tin from 1998 vintage. When my grandma first started teaching me, this was the sewing tin that she gave me. It had cookies at the time. We ate all the cookies and then she gave me the tin. So this is the Blackwork project that I'm going to be doing. It's called Pentecost, and I purchased this off of Etsy. And then me and my best friend were at the store, and I had so many floss choices. I ended up going with 3804, this really bright pink, which is going to show up and look fantastic against this piece. So I'm really, really excited about that. This one is 18 count fabric that I got this one off of the Facebook Marketplace. Somebody was selling a bunch of patterns. And when I got there, she also allowed me to look through the box, and I found several yards of Ada fabric. There was 14 count and there was 18 count, and then she had like the little tube of the rolled up 16 count, but it's one of the smaller pieces. So that's the second project. Third project, this one I'm calling a wish list project. In this case, I'm using it to fulfill the other pattern choice for the fair, but I'll probably be using wish list to fulfill a lot of other project needs in the future. Like at some point, I want to cross stitch my family new stockings with our names on them, and stuff like that. As long as it's on my wish list on any website, Etsy, 123 Stitch, Heaven and Earth Designs, any place, if there's a wish list feature, it's game for my wish list, one. This one, this one's big. This one, I got from Heaven and Earth Designs. It is called Fae Risque, and it is based on an Amy Brown artwork. Now, there are two versions on Heaven and Earth. There is the full piece where you're stitching that black and white and creaminess, or there's just the fairy. The version that I have is just the fairy. Anyway, so what I did is my BFF is also stitching this. And when we went to the store, I was like, okay, it calls for 25 count fabric. And when I pulled it and she looked at that, she's like, I'm never going to be able to see that. That is way too small. And I was like, okay. So then I pulled out 22 and she's like, okay, that's fine. So we brought it home. I dyed it for her to try to match the background on that picture. And then she started trying to stitch. And then after like 2 days, she's like, it's way too small. I can't do this. So I was like, well, I just got like 2 yards of 18 count off of the Facebook Marketplace. I can cut you a piece of 18 count. And she's like, yeah, sure. And then so she gave me her 22 count, which for me fits the size for the fair. And she has, 18 count. And so I have it on this really big scroll frame that is this huge frame that sits in my library next to my couch. And as you can see, it's just, I used Rit dyes like jet black and pearl gray, and then like we came up with this. So this frame that I got off of Amazon, which is great, I love it. The PVC doesn't hold as tightly as I'd like, so what I'm going to do is attach pieces of Ada myself to the bars with like the staple gun, and then stitch it onto the scroll frame that way, and then tighten it up, and then use the PVC bars. But also my floss drops haven't come for it yet, so all of mine are still in their normal flossy form. Also, I am attempting to do a color conversion on this from the red to blue. And I don't have DMC's handy little guide. So what I did is at the store, I pulled out the floss that it calls for, and then I tried to find a blue in the same hue, value, shade, saturation, stuff like that. I was just trying to make sure that it seemed like it was the same shade of blue as to the red, which is a lot harder than it sounds. So that's project number 3. Project number 4 is a stash busting piece. I have pieces that I have been carrying around for longer than I've been married. So it's time to do them. Now, this piece is going to be the one that sees the least amount of love. I'm only going to be working on this while I'm sitting in the kiss and drop lane waiting for my kids to get out of school every day. So roughly it's going to be like maybe 30 minutes a day, Monday through Friday, and that's if they go to school every day that week. Yesterday I had a snow day, which is why I didn't record this yesterday. I planned on it. Mondays and Tuesdays will either be my recording day based on whether or not my kids have school. So, my stash busting piece. I haven't opened it yet. It is this Plaid Bucilla counted cross stitch piece. The designer is Donna Dewberry, who is the one that would do like those one stroke paintings where like she'd have like all the colors on the paintbrush and do like the flower petals. It's called Hummingbird and Floral. Like I said, haven't opened it yet. It's all right here. As I said, this has been in my stash for 15, 20, 25 years. Not really sure. And I know from past experience, the rubber band, if there's a rubber band on it, is going to be disintegrated. And it might leave marks on the fabric. So I went to Michael's and I purchased the 14 count Charlescraft fabric that's in a roll. And then, oh man, you can't really see it. I hand dyed this shades of blue so that it looks like the sky. Can I get it? Can you see? No. Okay. Well, it's dyed shades of blue so that it looks like the sky back behind the hummingbird. And because I don't like the paper cards that the kits get, I got a floss card off of Etsy that's really, really cute. And it came with a free needle minder that matches, which is amazing. But I already have this really cute Artemis needle minder. And this is the center. This needle is hooked in onto the center square, which, as far as I can tell from the pattern, there's nothing in the center. So I wanted to mark where my center was because I know I'm going to be counting. And since it looks like it's probably going to be blank, I didn't want to mark it with anything that might not come out. So this one is for fun, and I'm going to leave this in my car Monday through Friday. And then it might get some work on it during the kids' extracurriculars. But this is mainly for when I'm sitting in line at the kiss and drop. So that is my 4 2024 new starts, with 3 of them having a June FFO completion date. So let's see if I can hold up on my end. All right, so next week is Martin Luther King Day on Monday. So I will be filming on Tuesday again next week, for next week. The following week, I should get to a regular Monday schedule. Stop it. One of the cats has decided to start trying to chew on the corner piece because it's string. All right, so I will see you guys next week with an update on each of my 4 projects.